Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing? This is Santos here. Nothing. I would just want to show you guys here my we can go through the Pro Division, and I want to show you guys hole one here. The way we play hole one. Um, we're gonna play actually on the right, but as you can see now, we got 5.8 miles per hour for our wind. So I found that was too little with a Power 3 with a Titan. So I decide to make it just a little bit more of 6.6 by using a Berserker. I think that that's the better one, so I can try to stay away from those trees, because those trees on the left are on play, and we want to try to evade them, and stay away from them actually. So, and that's why at that moment, since I saw so little wind, I decided to go with the Berserker here. And yeah, and that was the best option that I had. So I could have a clear view of the hole when it's my turn. Now, you're going to see here my opponent here. He's using extra mile 8 and using a quasar, and he's going to play on the left. You'll see how he's gonna do that. If you are able to really manage to play on the left, you can definitely then you will have a really good chance and also getting an eagle here, because you're gonna have basically a straight win with your second shot. But you have to do a really good drive so you can stay away from those trees as well on the right in this case. As for me here, you could see that I have a really open shot here, but it took me a little bit of time, like I wasn't paying attention to the clock, and then I run out of clock, so, or the timer. And but in here, I think it was 3 backspin here. Aim at the hole. With a power 5 ball, you should have to do you aiming like one square before the pin, and use like 5 or 10%. And unfortunately, since I was running out of time, I just let it go. And yeah, we went on the side, but that's telling me that if I'm using a power 5 ball, guys, use or aim like one square before the pin with 3 backspin, and do max distance with 5% extra. Or I will use 10. Honestly, I will use 10 for this with the second shot. You could see I'm leaving here. My opponent shot has a really straight win here that he didn't take advantage on, and that's why I'm leaving it to you guys, that if you guys are able to manage to play on the left, go for it, and then you might get something extra there. Okay, for hole number 2, in here, I think hole 2 is, we're waiting. Okay, I'm going first. Okay, this is a hole that I decided to go with a kingmaker. But one thing I noticed here is that you need like 3.5 topspin, but 3 right spin, guys, not 3.5. All you need is, and look at the red ring right at the edge of the bunk of the rough on the right, and 30% extra, but only 3 right spin. Don't use 3.5. Use 3 right spin, and with 30% extra, try to hit it perfect, which I did. And you will see now where we go. Oh, that was so close. but use only 3 right spin, guys, not 3.5, and 3.5 top spin for hole number 2. Okay, so now we are here in hole number 3. And we are going to see how I decided to play this one. Okay, my opponent is going first with using an extra mile 7. And you see here, guys, you need, like in hole 3, you definitely need a power that can give you side spin. Even a katana, if you don't want to use a kingmaker, use a katana so it could give you as much right spin as possible. And so you don't really have to end up in the bunker, because you're really losing the chance for your ego. But in my case, I'm using the quarterback here, guys. Full top, full right spin, and then, I'm using 20% extra. And basically what I'm doing is visualizing, where I want my ball, where I going to land. So I'm just looking at it, and then I just move, like, looking where my ball is going to land, and then just go. And you see the bullseye basically touching the right with 7.3 wind, some curl touching, like I said, the bullseye touching on the edge of the rough on the right, and then use some curl. And you see how nice that came in. This was a really nice shot here with 363 yards. The reason I decided to go with a quarterback is just for the accuracy. The quarterback is really, really giving us the accuracy that we need. So the only difference that you have to do is that you have to visualize, where the ball is going to land, and then adjust from there. And then you can have a really nice drive. With my second shot, I'm using the sniper. And as you can see here, in here, I don't use any elevation, guys. I don't use up or downhill elevation. I don't use none. Look on my blue ring. My blue ring is right at the use one top, full right spin. My blue ring at the edge of the rough on the right, 6.6 rings, so 1-to-1. And then in here, you're gonna see something. Okay, you see that I hit it great on the right, but now look what happened. We got the albatross. So what is that telling me? That since I hit it great on the right, it means that I'm gonna use 10% extra in here. I mean 5%, not 10, 5% extra. So in case I hit it perfect, or I hit it perfect, try to see if I can get that one in the hole. As for hole number 4, we're gonna keep moving forward here, guys. At the end, I'm gonna decide. I was thinking to use a navigator, but it wasn't really looking the way I wanted it. So at the end, I decided to go with a Titan and use 2 right spin here, and try to basically, use like 2 squares on the left from the pin, then 20% extra, which was 8 rings. And by doing it perfect, we'll find out where this ball landed. And that was kind of really close, and it just went right onto the right. So that means that I have to do a little bit more of an adjustment there, and probably use the dark line on the green, but instead of the end of my ball guideline being on the right, I will decide to go the end of my ball guideline from the second, I think it's the second dark line on from the pin. Use use the first line on the second dark line of the on the green there. You're gonna see here my opponent here doing his shot as well, and he using some curl to the left. I understand that he's trying to compensate a little for the kind of wind that we getting from right to left or left to right. I'm sorry, but look, that curl cost them a little bit to go on to the left. So we just have to really try to really adjust the best way possible. I'm thinking that also I might even use, instead of 20%, I might use even 30% in that hole 4. But that I will know until I go on the opening rounds and make the adjustment that I would do there. But for now, you saw there how I did play that one. As for hole number 5, I was thinking to go here on the left first because I know that I'm going to have a straight wind with my second shot. But at the end of the day, I decided to go on the right just because I want to make sure at least that I get my birdie here, or at least try to, my birdie. If I land on the fairway, I know I'm gonna be there. So as for here, you see that I try to do it as like full curl to the left, full power, full overpower, full topspin, full left pin that I use here. And yeah, so I was really, I like the position that where I am in there, so that you guys will see. My opponent Mikey, well, you see that he's going to be using an extra mile 8. It's kind of strange for me seeing an extra mile 8 in pro, but I think it's okay as well. And look what happened down there. So he hit the bunker there. He didn't quite did his adjustment. And here with my second shot, I did like 20%, as you're gonna see here. I do full right, 3 backspin, and then try aim at the hole with minus 20%. But I'm gonna show you something. And you see that I'm really aiming right at the pin here, right at the center of the pin with minus 20%. I use 2.5 rings. And look what happened in this hole 5. We hit it perfect. And we went on the right. So what is that telling me? That in Pro Division, guys, I'm not going to use a minus 20%. I'm not going to use any elevation. At least for my shot, what I got is that I'm not going to use elevation there. I just going to go whatever is my distance. If it's max, mid, or min, whatever in the position that I end up with my drive, but no elevation for me. At least that's what I will try in the opening rounds on Thursday. I will not use any elevation for my second shot here in Pro Division, guys. At least that's what you could see it. I hit it perfect, and that's how I know exactly how can I play the hole. So no elevation in this hole 5, guys, with your second shot in Pro Division. Aim right at the hole and just find your distance and then go from there. So yeah, that's the way I'm planning on playing hole 5 Okay, we move along to hole number 6 in here. And you're gonna see, guys, how I'm gonna play this. And this one here, guys, on hole 6 I'm gonna use 20% downhill for my drive. You see my opponent here using a katana. I would recommend that if you have extra mile 6 or 7, use at least a Titan, just because you want to gain as much distance as possible. Because if you're gonna hit the rough like my opponent is going to do, you see, you're still gonna end up on the fairway, but then your second shot is gonna be not difficult, but not at least the way at least we want to try, which is the rough bump. So for me, I use full top, 3 right spin, just leave it just exactly where it is. Do 20% downhill adjustment here. It was like 3/8 rings, and then pull forward a max distance. And I'm still gonna use a little bit of overpower here with some with a little bit of curl to the right. And we hit it great on the left, but that's okay. Hitting perfect or great on the left, it's okay, because we want to get close as much as possible from to the right, not on the left. So that's why I'm using that little curl there to the right. And yeah, so you see, it's still really makeable shot. You know, it's not that you're putting in danger yourself unless you end up in the rough. Because if you end up in the rough, then it's going to be a really tough shot, your second shot, you know. But in here, you know, with the in Sniper 7, still really, really makeable shot that you're not putting in danger, getting at least your eagle here. And that's what are you looking for, guys. Try to minimize the errors as much as possible. And if we can eliminate them all, it's even better, because whatever extra that you get, you know, it just will count into your into accomplish, you know, the as less points that we can get. As for me, you're gonna see now that I'm going to be around mid distance. I'm basically close to max. So I'm using the blue ring as my reference at the edge of the rough there. And then I'm going to use minus 10% here in this hole, minus 10%. And then I did use like 4 rings because it was like a max distance. But I think I over adjusted just a tiny bit more. I hit it perfect, and look what happened. The speed is perfect, but look at that. I did like 4.2 rings, and it was supposed to be only 4 rings. But, you know, do that minus 10% in here, guys. Aim basically just left to the hole, guys. Just left to the hole. And use minus 10%. Find your distance if it's mid, min, or max. And then you go from there. And we were really close of getting the albatross in this hole here. But, okay. So, that's how we play this one, or we're planning to play. And now we move to hole number 7. This hole number 7, I decided to continue playing with a Titan, but I will say that the better ball to play is either or a kingmaker or a katana. If you don't want to spare like a kingmaker, you can use a katana because you can use full right spin here and one back spin. And you see the yellow ring just basically touching the rough there. That's the best way to go. And I'm sorry that my shot got confused because I over adjusted looking at the sniper and and I over adjust my rings because I was looking at my sniper and not to my Goliath. So that's why I end up on the bunker. But try not to make that mistake, guys. Do your adjustment with your Goliath, not with your sniper. I made the mistake that I did like 7 something rings because I got confused with the sniper there. I did the adjustment of the sniper. But yeah, so we end up in the bunker. But the good thing about this one is like what, I'm leaving every single hole, guys, because I want you to make your adjustments. And whatever, guys, that you can take from here and put it into your qualifying round, it will be really nice and that you could be and do a better shot than myself. But like I said, don't get confused with your club's adjustment, okay? So we got here the Malibu here. And since I don't have like kind of straight wind, I have more like a crosswind here. I just aim right at the hole on the right and I'll try to hit it perfect, which is really important because if you don't hit it perfect, then you're going to miss. But we end up hitting perfect our shot here and we did save our birdie here in hole number 7. So remember, don't get confused with your adjustment. Adjust for the Goliath, not the sniper. Okay, so now we move to hole number 8. Okay, we'll see here, hole number 8, how we decided to play this one, guys. You're going to see Jason here. That he's going to try to play on that second fairway in the middle, which I don't recommend, guys. I don't recommend that you do that because if you don't quite do the right adjustment, you might end up in the bunker. And look what he's doing. He's not making any adjustments and just doing backspin and side spin. But look at what happened. Bang, bunker. Nope, that's a no. You need to save your ego here. So what did I do here? I decided to go with a Titan and with my quarterback. And just you see there, like you're gonna see at the end of my ball guideline, full top spin and 4 right spin. But you see my ball guideline, guys, that it just the end of it just touching the end of the rough there. That's what you need to do with 20% extra, guys. I use 20%. That's like 7.6, 7.7 rings. Try to hit it perfect as obviously as well. And we did. And look how nice this hole really comes in. Really nice. We are on the green, and that's gonna be a really, really easy eagle if you play it that way and you look exactly how way I played this hole. Full top spin, full right spin, but you gotta see the end of the ball guideline and just touching the edge of the fringe there in the rough. That's very important that you do that, guys. Okay, so you can see here is you need to hit perfect, but try to stay away from the bunker because it's not easy of hitting a perfect shot, guys. Just try to be on the fringe or on the green for a putt or a chip in, but Stay away from the rough or the bunker in any hole, because then you putting yourself in risk of losing your birdie or your eagle in any hole. And that's how we did in hole number 8. And we got our eagle here, and we doing really good. And now we go to hole number 9. Hole number 9, guys. I was thinking that I was going to play on the right using the rough bump. But after seeing the type of wind that we're getting in this tournament, I'm going to go on the left. Same thing here, guys. There's no need of using a katana. You need to use at least a power 3 ball for your second shot, because you got to think ahead. You know that your second shot is the one that you really have to really thinking on to do here. And obviously try to not use much overpower here, because we have a little bit of crosswind but with tailwind as well. So as for me, using a Titan Extra Mile 7 full top spin and 3 right spin I'm going to use here. Right there, and I'm going to use only 10% here, guys. Only 10% downhill, adding to my rings, and that's it's like 4 rings here. Then straight up and pull forward a max distance, and just use, since we have a little bit of tailwind, just use like a slide over power, guys, but not much, because you don't want to hit the rough. I even could go just a little bit more and I would have gained more distance here. But I like it there. I just don't want to risk myself. 375 yards. That's really good yardage that I can do with my sniper with my second shot. See, the reason that the more distance you get, the better it will be for your second shot, guys. Especially if you are going to use a sniper. If you use probably maybe like a big dog, you will have more distance, you will have more top spin, and you could save your eagle that way. But I love the sniper just because of the ball guide, that it provides us. I think it's a really good. All you got to do is try to do a really good drive, and that's it. And we can work from there. For me, as you can see, that 375 yards, and you're going to see exactly where I'm going to be. All right, so I'm just putting myself like right there, half of the clear ring on the rough on the right, 1 backspin, full right spin here. Use 10% as well for my drive, and that will be like 3 rings or 7 rings, something like that. Okay, but now you don't have to overpower, but you do have to curl to the right. You really have to curl to the right, guys, there. And look how close we end up here in this hole. Super close, super close. So, but I'm looking forward to get my eagle here, because getting an albatross is just very difficult in Pro Division. And this hole makeable, yes, but it's not going to be an easy one. So if I would have done the full curl, I might would have a chance there. But I didn't. So use full curl to the right with your sniper, and then you might be really lucky and get the ball in the hole. But as you saw, I use 1 backspin and full right spin here with my sniper with my second shot. Full curl to the right is the recommended advice that I tell you guys to do. And yeah, and that's how we did in Pro, guys. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to live stream it, but here it is so you guys could see and manage to do your holes in every way possible. So I want to